So tell me a little bit about this trip. What's the mission?
So I've been thinking about this trip for nearly a year because I'm from Southern California and I spent a lot of time in Northern California as well. The whole idea was to focus on technology, innovation, and renewable energy, especially the energy. What's happening here in California, in Los Angeles, and the whole state is amazing. And right now, Argentina gets only 1%, more or less, of their energy from wind and solar. And I explained in Los Angeles, we're nearly 50% in the next couple of years from wind and solar. So that got me thinking, maybe we bring a high-level delegation of government officials, but then a lot of corporate leaders to California to develop these partnerships and these linkages.
I see. So tell us a little bit more about who was with you on this trip.
Sure. So we had the Minister of Science and Technology, the Secretary of Renewable Energy, another Minister of Science and Tech from one of the provinces. So we had a real mix, a woman who's the Secretary of Creative Industries for the city of Buenos Aires, and then about 18 or 20 private sector leaders. All kinds of industries, from industrial and agriculture to technology and public-private partnerships too. So it was a real broad section. What's really interesting, I think, is for the first time ever that the Argentine government is attracting the private sector into government. So some of the ministers, including the Minister of Energy, he was a chairman of Shell, for example. There's many ministers and others who are leaders in the government who came from the private sector. So I think they really are embracing this new idea that Argentina should really focus on not just business, but technology and disruptive technologies.
Now that's a big change. I mean, my understanding of the Argentine economic story of the past few decades is that it has been characterized by great turbulence. Is that era over, do you think? And how do you convince American businesses to feel comfortable working in Argentina?
Sure. It's a great question. And you know, we have over 500 American companies that are doing business in Argentina now, and many have been there for 100 years. So they've sort of been through the ups and downs. And this new government, though, the current president, I mean, was really an upset election, and not just on the federal level, but the city and the province. But we, the U.S. government, we have good relationships with all these political parties and other governors, and there's really a change. Part of it's generational, I think, and part of it is just a real desire to kind of even out that curve and to embrace technology. So technology in general, at least my opinion, hasn't kicked into the economy just yet, but it's about to.
Well, for technology to really flourish, you need infrastructure, right? Broadband internet access, roads. Where is Argentina right now in upgrading its infrastructure?
So for the last 15 years or so, they could not get to the international financial markets because they had the big fight with these bond holdouts, but that ended about a month ago. So for the first time in over a decade, they can go raise money to do infrastructure projects. So roads, bridges, electrical plants, water treatment plants. So you have this big push about building the infrastructure, not just physical, but the internet as well. It's a real problem. I mean, phone calls still drop. But you have government officials at all levels understanding they need to quickly get to where California is, for example.
Argentina is surrounded in South America by countries whose economies are either more stable or growing more quickly. You have the stories in Colombia, Chile, Ecuador. What is Argentina's pitch vis-a-vis its regional neighbors?
So I think that's changing. I mean, we saw what happened in Brazil just the last couple days, and I talked to a lot of companies that are extremely concerned about Brazil, for example, and some are even moving those resources over to Argentina. But if you look at emerging markets around the world, at least their pitch is the best returns right now are coming from Argentina with a government that is actually trying to create a transparent, stable, long-term, good environment to invest. And so we're seeing companies all the time and big investment firms coming down to kind of get a lay of the land and see if it's a good place to do business. But like I said, there's over 500 U.S. companies that are currently there.